Sup YouTube, Terrolution23 here, back to show you another Litheo League battle. This time we have the challenger Iver going up against the Flying Gym, led by Josh, aka Squirtacular. Josh is bringing his Skarmory, Salamence, Aerodactyl, Breviary, Vivian, and Talonflame, and Iver's bringing his Amoonguss, Dusknoir, Scizor, Octillery, Manectric, and Mamoswine. Now at first glance it looks like Iver has the advantage because of Mamoswine and Manectric, but don't sleep on Josh. He brings some most interesting sets, and you're going to see in this battle that because of those sets he's able to pull through in the end. So Iver is issuing a challenge. So first off we have Skarmory versus Mamoswine. Pretty typical leads when you see this Pokemon. Both probably going to try and set up Stealth Rocks, but no, Josh doesn't go for Stealth Rocks, he goes for Steel Wing. Yes, his Skarmory is the attacking variant. It's focusing mainly on speed and attack, something that Iver probably didn't expect coming, and because of that, he didn't want to lose his Mamoswine so early, so he's going to switch out and go to Dusknoir. Now you're going to see in this battle, Dusknoir is really putting in a lot of work, taking a lot of hits and really hitting things hard. Now as Skarmory goes for Steel Wing, Josh probably realized that that little bit of damage is not going to be enough to take care of this Dusknoir, so he's going to try and switch out and go to a different Mon. But Dusknoir goes for Pursuit, trying to deal as much damage, which is actually pretty smart considering that he knew that Skarmory couldn't do much. He figured he might as well try and do as much damage to it while he could. Now Josh has switched out to Salamence. They're going to try to take care of this Dusknoir. Now this Salamence set was taken directly from the Kingdra playbook. As you're going to see now, Salamence is going to go for Focus Energy. Yeah, this is the Focus Energy Draco Meteor set, which is actually really smart for this because he's really going to need to deal as much damage as he can to this defensive Dusknoir. And something Josh probably didn't realize that this Dusknoir really came prepared. It came with Ice Punch. And now with Shadow Sneak he's going to try and finish him off. But don't count Salamence out yet. That thing is bulky, or at least bulky enough to take a Shadow Sneak. And he's able to pull off Draco Meteor because of that survival. Now Draco Meteor, even though it is a crit and it is coming from Immense, it still wasn't enough to take care of the Dusknoir. This Dusknoir is putting in work, I'm telling you guys. And thanks to Leftovers, it's really going to add to his survivability. Now unfortunately, because Salamence was not able to knock out Dusknoir, he's going to have to go down to a Shadow Sneak. Now from the looks of it, Iver really has Josh cornered. I mean, he's not going to be able to do much to this Dusknoir unless he really brings out some good power or a new strategy to try and take him. So for now, what he's going to try and do is bring out his Blood Wing to get rid of those rocks. Those rocks are really harming Josh, and his ability to switch out to the Mon that he needs. Now being the smart battler that he is, Iver's going to take advantage of the situation and burn Josh's Blood Wing, now making it essentially useless except for Death Fodder. Which is rather unfortunate because I've seen Blood Wing in battle before and it has monstrous attacking capabilities. So now, Blood Wing has no business being in here, so he's going to U-turn out to his next Pokemon, No Mercy, the Vivian. Now to be completely honest, I don't know why he brought in Vivian. He knows Dusknoir's movesets. He knows Dusknoir is packing Will-O-Wisp, Ice Punch, Pursue, and Shadow Sneak. And boom! There you go! Vivian just got slapped in the face with an Ice Punch. Although, now as we just witnessed it, Ice Punch actually didn't do much to the very frail Butterfly. Now No Mercy has to try and do some work. It has to do as much damage as it can to this Dusknoir. And oh, so close! Maybe a turn or two ago, he might have been able to knock that out with a Hurricane. And with that survival, Dusknoir is able to go for another Ice Punch right in Vivillon's face. And at this point, there's nothing Vivillon can really do. It's just going to have to take that Shadow Sneak and be a safe switch-in for another Mon. Man, oh man, this Dusknoir is really showing to be Josh's Achilles heel in this battle. And with those damn Leftovers, it's really proving to be almost immortal. Now watch, after this battle, I swear, like half of you guys are going to go make a Dusknoir. Now at this point, Josh doesn't really have much of an option. He's going to have to bring one of his key Pokemon, Talonflame. But seeing how much work Dusknoir did, Iver's definitely not going to want to let his Dusknoir go down so easily, so he's going to switch out into Scizor, attempting to take that Brave Bird. And unfortunately to Iver, but luckily for Josh, he landed a crit. Now I want to say that this crit was fairly important, just because Scizor could have left and come back later to try and take another hit for Iver, but now it got crippled and won't be able to do much. And at this point, Iver probably decided that the most he can do is just deal as much damage as he can to Talonflame before going down. Burn the Caesar! And if you get that reference, congratulations, you're a knee-deep nerd. Now getting back on track, Josh has actually put himself in a much better situation now. He's able to apply much more pressure on Iver now that his Talonflame is out and is in good form. Now Iver decided to bring out Mammothine, maybe for a couple of reasons. To set up rocks again, probably trying to outspeed and hit him with Ice Shard to try and deal as much damage as it can before going down. But unfortunately, Talonflame was able to outspeed and Brave Bird Mammothine to death. Gosh, watching this battle again reminds me of my first couple of days as a competitive battler and just seeing Talonflame wreck my team. And if you guys had that same experience, please tell us in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Now it's at this point that you can tell Iver's going to start becoming serious. He's going to throw out his all-star, Manectric, out to try and take care of these birds. Now Josh knew some Mega Evolution shenanigans was going to come on, and he knew that he needed to preserve his Talonflame. So what he did was switch out to Braviary to sack it to get a safe switch in for his next Mon. Which is smart on Josh's end, because he knew at this point Bloodwing wasn't really going to do much. So he's going to let it go down to Mega Manectric's Volt Switch. Now at first glance, you would think, why would he Volt Switch when he can just kill it with Thunderbolt? Maybe to create a better situation for him later? Well, as you're going to see later on, that Intimidate is actually going to be very helpful, so it's actually smart that he keeps Volt Switching out. And what better to Volt Switch into to the one Mon that was giving Josh so much trouble. Now this is a point in the match where you're going to see that Josh really thought about the moveset for his Talonflame. He didn't just think about spamming the skillless Brave Bird, but actually decided to pack Roost and another helpful move that he's going to show off later in the match. And because of this, you can really tell that Fox is definitely one of Josh's favorite Pokemon on his team. Now with Talonflame back to a decent amount of health, Iver knew that he was going to have to let something go. He's either going to let Dusknoir go down or switch out and let something else go down. Because he didn't really know if he was going to go for Brave Bird or for Flare Blitz, because either way, Talonflame is quicker and wouldn't be able to knock it out. And I bet you guys that Josh had the biggest sigh of relief when he was able to finally knock down that Dusknoir. Now next up for Iver is Amoonguss. Now why bring Amoonguss to Fox? I'm not really sure. I think my theory is that he wanted to bait him into trying to do Roost in order for him to be able to spore him. But as he saw, that actually backfired because Josh came prepared with a substitute. And come on, let's be honest. This is a shit scary sight. A Talonflame with Roost behind a sub, being able to Brave Bird and Flare Blitz as much as it wants right in your face. And you can tell that this substitute definitely caught Iver off guard. But it wasn't all for naught. As you can see from that recoil, that Amoonguss sacrifice actually benefited Iver. Now Iver really had to figure out a way to break this sub and try and knock out Talonflame before Talonflame knocked him out. And his best bet was Manectric, being able to be quicker and Volt Switch out, breaking the sub and then bringing something else to take whatever Flare Blitz or Brave Bird he wanted, and then having Talonflame die to recoil. Now the real question that Iver had to deal with was what to bring in order to best take the attack that Talonflame is about to dish out. And Iver chose Octillery, which is actually pretty smart because he knew that Brave Bird wasn't really going to do much to Manectric, so the only other move he could have done was Flare Blitz, so he brought in the Water type to take that hit. And as you saw, that didn't do anything to Octillery, but it did just enough to knock out Fox. Now Josh is going to bring his Sonic Boom, his Aerodactyl, and Iver's going to switch out his Octillery into Manectric to try and get that Intimidate drop so he can survive more hits. Now, at the moment, that might have sounded like an excellent idea, but there's something that Iver, I feel, didn't really take into consideration when he was thinking about this, and it was that there is a slight possibility that Mega Aerodactyl would have been able to outspeed. Now, I don't know what kind of set this Mega Manectric is, if it's a timid set or if it's a modest set. Now, if he was timid, he probably didn't really have to worry too much about it, but if he was modest, he probably should have thought about this. And because of this, he lost his Mega Manectric. Now, Iver's in a really tough spot. Right now, all he has left is Octillery versus the Mega Aerodactyl and the Skarmory. And the only way he's going to be able to get that flying badge is if he's able to take both hits, which he didn't take this one well, and survive Skarmory's next attack. Now from this HP range, it doesn't look like he had much of a chance. If Icarus was solely defensive, had no attack investment, he might have been able to survive this. But the drill peck proved too much and secured Josh the victory. And I'd like to thank you all for watching, and catch you guys later for the next Litheo League battle.